PEPFAR.
Yeah.
It's another acronym. The United States President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief was actually launched by former President George W. Bush in 2003, so 20 years ago. It's global health funding to respond to the global HIV and AIDS epidemic. And by 2023, PEPFAR had reportedly saved over 25 million lives, principally in sub-Saharan Africa. At the end of January this year, just gone, the Trump administration put the program on halt and took away PEPFAR's computer systems online and their surveillance programs. On January 28th, the new government granted a waiver then for essential medicines, AR antiretroviral medication, and medical services, temporarily restoring a global HIV treatment program which had been suspended the previous week. But processing waivers is very bureaucratic, time-consuming, and administratively demanding for international organizations like Concern and local organizations in country. As of now, the majority of USAID-funded prevention programs for people at high risk of infection, including adolescent girls and young women and key populations, remain closed. And like I've said many times, the cost of HIV treatment for life is much more expensive than HIV for prevention everywhere. Of the almost 40 million people living with HIV globally, nearly 10 million are still not accessing life-saving treatment. And we discussed this on World AIDS Day, December 1st, just past, Darren. 630,000 people died of AIDS-related illnesses last year, and 1.3 million people around the world became newly infected with HIV. Newly infected people, including here in Ireland. And in 28 countries, as of today, the number of HIV infections is on the rise. The impact on young women and girls, is especially stark in terms of their vulnerability. And every day in 2023, 570 young women and girls aged between 15 and 24 acquired HIV. With the pause in investment by USAID and PEPFAR in HIV prevention programs, young women and girls are increasingly at risk of acquiring HIV, especially in conflict and poverty-affected countries like Democratic Republic of Congo at the minute, Sudan, Haiti, Burkina Faso, and others. It's unconscionable to think that poor progress had been made in terms of PEPFAR and other donors halting the spread of HIV and halting AIDS-related deaths. This might now be dramatically reversed, Darren.
Yeah, just about PEPFAR, this goes back several years because I understand he doesn't do many interviews in the media nowadays, but I saw George W. Bush interviewed on television a few years ago now, and I think he said that PEPFAR was his number one foreign policy global achievement that he was most proud of. And I find it astonishing that when so much progress has been made, instead of building on that progress so that everyone who has HIV has treatment, I find it astonishing that even what's been achieved could be pretty much destroyed, because that's what it's looking like, isn't it, Breda?
Absolutely, Darren. And many Republicans do not agree with the current administration's position on this, and in terms of, protecting and saving lives. Like, soft power in terms of aid assistance is valued in so many countries globally, from A to Z, as I often say, Afghanistan to Zimbabwe. And poorest and most vulnerable people will suffer and endure hardship most